Hello and welcome to the Behind the Fig podcast. This is Fateful Fairy. You can just call me Fate. I don't know why I said my whole name today, but that's how it's going. Again, this is the Behind the Fig podcast where we interview fan fiction writers and ask them questions about what they've written and what the process was like. And that's really cool. My co-host today is Owlheart, who is back from last week. She was amazingly amazing when I could not attend. So
Jazz hands.
Jazz hands and applause. I don't know if you can hear my applause because I'm wearing mittens because it's cold in here.
Dang.
But today we have a guest. I mean, we always have a guest, but introduce yourself, guest.
Special guest. Hey, I am Pastels or pastelsandpining on Tumblr and AO3. You can find me on both if you want to give me a little search up, self-promo.
Do it.
Do it.
Okay. Yeah. You can. What are you reading for us today? And does it have any trigger warnings?
No, I don't think so. But again, I'm gonna be it's Breath of the Wild, so just read with caution. It is Zelda and Link, Zelda's not really present, but it's the Link centered because I don't write anything else ever. And it's just one of the first couple pieces I wrote after playing Breath of the Wild, or while playing Breath of the Wild, because it took me a hot minute to finish that game. I don't know. I have a lot of feelings about the game, so I poured it into a one-shot that is part of a trilogy, but can be read standalone. It's called Bittersweet.
I don't know why my mic is working half the time. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and take it away.
Okay. Give me a second.
I almost disconnected from the call instead of muting.
Oh no.
I will not do that.
Don't leave me alone, please no. Alright. Okay. God, you'd think I'd be a professional at this by now, how many times I've had to read something aloud to a group of people this year, but, Master Link, are you alright? The Rito Bard meant well. He was one of the many who'd been nothing but kind and helpful towards him since the very beginning. Yet his question made Link pause the drumming of his fingers against the wooden platform and frown. I'm just thinking, he decided to say as he looked up. Ah, sighed the bard, who turned his gaze towards the vast expanse of Hyrule. Yes, happens to the best of us. Would you perhaps like some company? Link shrugged with a gesture to the open area beside him. I apologize if I overwhelmed you with my song, spoke Kass again as he took a seat, but I suppose everything is a little overwhelming. That's generous, Link replied simply, and busied his fingers with the Sheikah slate. He tapped through the compendium, through the photo album, through the map, just to have something to look at other than his friend. After a moment of thought, he shuffled back from the edge of the platform. She'd kill me herself if I dropped this. Do you remember much about her? Kass asked, ending a stretch of silence. Link frowned again, tracing the swirling patterns with his fingers. What could he say, really? Everything from the mossy trees to the breath that sustained life carried the Princess of Hyrule with it. There were bits of her everywhere. She was nothing more than another ghost in the beginning. A face he couldn't make out, a voice that called from nothing, a girl he should know but could not recall. But when he stood under the arching gates of Lanayru Promenade, with the overgrown grass scratching his boots and chilled wind from the mountain biting his nose, her face became as clear as crystal. And suddenly, every petal of a silent princess carried her name, and every gust of wind echoed her voice, and every touch of the sun's light mimicked her smile. And every hot-footed frog was a hypothesis, and every piece of Sheikah technology he uncovered was her passion, and every drop of rain was her grief, and every deactivated guardian was a totem of her power, and every glance towards the castle was a token of her love. There were glimpses of her hide a smile behind her hand. There were glimpses of her fingers brushing so softly against his that he wasn't sure any of it was real. There were glimpses of his fingers tracing gentle lines over the shapes of her face while she slept. A kiss, light as a feather, to the inside of her wrist. A grab of her hand as they ran for safety. She was the heartbeat that kept Hyrule alive, and there were so few who knew that. But he did. She's everywhere, Link answered softly, wondering vaguely if she could see him or hear him from the confines of her prison. If she could, the wind was quiet. Kass gave no response, but his gaze was something understanding, and he was compelled to continue speaking. I don't remember everything, he said, and fiddled with the slate again. I don't think I ever will. I didn't know where to start at first. But she left me pictures, and now everything reminds me of her. Sometimes she's the only thing I know, and I don't even know her. Would you like to? Kass asked, as if he really had a choice in the matter. And if you want the answer to that, go read my fic.
I'm here. Oh gosh. You left it on a cliffhanger. What
I did. How dare I?
The cruelty.
Cruel. Pastels, like me, writes angst sometimes, and is sometimes cruel with it.
Oops.
Many times. Oops.
Oops. Does all of October. Oops.
Oops. I dropped some angst in there. Whoops. Okay. Where's my notes? Okay, we're gonna ask you many questions.
Okay.
So, because we love you and we love your fic and you're amazing.
Interrogate me.
Okay. And none of my questions are gonna make sense. So
That's okay.
a theme of this is the ideas of destiny and fate. No puns intended.
Haha, that's not intended.
No, it's not intended. I wrote it down and I thought about it and I'm like, no, not intended. Do you personally believe that we are on a fixed path? And do you find yourself writing Link to believe this more often or not much?
Oh, dang. Okay. I didn't think we were gonna get deep in here.
Okay, sorry. It's your fic prompted the deepness, that's why.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I believe that we're on a fixed path, because I don't know, I don't subscribe to that idea because of the idea of free will. Oh my god, I'm still dying. Because we are kind of in a way free to make our own choices. And I don't know, I do write like as kind of believing that, because I mean, with the sword and everything, his fate has long since been set out before him, so he doesn't really get a choice in the matter. He's just like, yeah, that's happening, okay.
Yeah.
But I personally don't believe that we are on a linear kind of path.
Well, like, I think part of my question, like, yeah, Link is on a fixed path. What do you tend to write him as, like, actually believing?
He believes it.
Okay, so he believes it, yeah.
Yeah, he believes it. He's like, I guess this is happening.
Right, okay. So I feel like there's some angst things I've read where it's like,
oh yeah,
he's like, I'm gonna forget fate, thinking he's like being a rebel, but so you basically kind of stick with like he knows what's going on, and it's fate. Okay, cool, good answer.
Thanks.
Owl.
Right. Was there a scene in the game that inspired you or that you based things off of?
Oh, all of it ever.
All of it ever.
All of it ever. I think what specifically gave me inspiration for this is not a scene, it's the writing music, the daytime writing music that has Zelda's Lullaby shoved into it.
At first I thought you said like writing
really
music, and I'm like, it's all writing music.
I mean, yeah, but no, writing music, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how Owlheart asked, like, what is there a scene that inspired you? And you're just like, yes.
Yes, all of it. The entire game. So much inspiration.
That's what fanfic is for.
Yeah.
So true. So true.
No, I love the music in Breath of the Wild, and people say there's no music, and I'm like, did you?
Oh yeah, no. I will listen to the
Did you
soundtrack and cry my eyes
listen?
out.
Yeah. So, do you see the stories in the games that preceded Breath of the Wild as mere stories and legends, or are they cemented in a long connected canon?
Oh god. Nintendo says they're all cemented in
Right.
canon, and I don't trust Nintendo.
Oh,
But
she did
there
not.
are some. No, I don't trust Nintendo. But there are some games specifically that I'm like, yeah, that can make sense in a timeline.
Yeah.
Not that Nintendo's timeline makes sense, but yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
I'm fine with it, but because I think you in your fag you talked about these legends that Link is living up to, and I was just wondering in the Breath of the Wild's Hyrule how like I bet all those stories of the past games are technically like the legends. So
Well, I mean,
yeah,
either Nintendo really forgot how long a year is, or I don't know, but they give Hyrule such a long and extensive history with like the 10,000 years ago and the 10,000 years before that and all that stuff. Just, I mean, it's kind of hard not to believe that there was a hero and a princess before then, and then before that one, and then before
right.
that one.
10,000 years ago is a long time.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
about that sometimes. I'm like, okay. My questions are not very good today. I'm sorry. That's never been
That's
on that.
okay.
Oh, okay. Ow.
What do you find the most compelling about Link and Zelda?
Oh, that's a good one. She's better this
All
than I
of
am.
it ever. I don't know. I'm always a sucker for the soulmate kind of idea, and they just have so much tragedy surrounding them that it's very hard not to get attached to them and go, oh, I want to hurt them further.
Wow.
That does
Zelda,
not sound good for me. Sometimes.
Hey, Urbosa.
To do this to me. Anyway. Yes.
I can
I
read
love
the
Legend of
chapter out
Zelda.
loud.
I would
can't escape it
leave
here.
this call. I would leave this call.
Okay, that's for a different. For a different call. For a different
That's
podcast
for a
episode.
different fic entirely.
And I will read it out loud. Then I'll be like, "Hey, Pastels."
I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna just dip.
She brandished her golden sword. I don't even remember what I said. Okay,
Me.
something like that. The word brandish is in there.
Probably somewhere.
I got fancy with. I got really excited. I'm like, I'm gonna make Pastels hurt.
And you did, so I got revenge. Yes, I'm very prone to blonde. I don't know what to call them.
Benches.
Yeah, surrounded by tragedy, yes. Blondies surrounded by tragedy that are soulmates,
Yes.
reborn again and again.
Yes, those. And blondies in general, like there's a lot of blondies in many fandoms where I'm like, yes.
Definitely.
Yes. So yeah. Actually, kind of a side question, like, how were you introduced to the series?
Funny story. So, during quarantine, I didn't.
Quarantine did a lot for a lot of people.
I actually didn't have a Switch during quarantine, so I was suffering a lot because I was like, wow, I'm so bored, I have nothing to do. And I had a boyfriend at the time, long distance, of course, because I can't meet people in my state. And
please don't meet anyone in your state. Please.
And he was really into Zelda. And when we were on call, he and his sister would constantly talk about Breath of the Wild, right? Just all the time, never shut up about it. And internally, I was like, it can't be that good. The game can't be that good. I want to sit here and talk to you, and all you want to talk about is this stupid game. It can't be that good. So I got a Switch, and I got the game, and it was, in fact, that good. So I got played.
And now you're here talking about it.
I played myself.
Yep.
That sounds about right.
That's a good game to start with. It's a really
Well,
good game.
I had Ocarina of Time before this one
Okay.
because the boyfriend bought it for me at Walmart, and I was just really bad at it. I didn't like it because I was bad at it. I was really bad at the temples, and we'd only did one, I want to say, but I was really bad at it, and I was like, "This sucks. This game
The
sucks."
Deku Tree.
Yes, he didn't He didn't warn me that there was gonna be giant spiders, so
Oh, do you not like spiders?
ick.
no.
Oh,
So Breath of the Wild was a breath of fresh air. Yeah, okay, how cheesy. I don't know. I just like the gameplay on that one better. And then I got obsessed with the Link, and then I played the other games and was like, okay, this is my life now.
yeah. And here you are.
Yeah, here I am.
I'm glad
Sure
it's your
enough.
life because you've put a lot of amazing work out there. Like every
It's a
time I
lot
read
of
your
content.
stuff, every time I read your stuff, I'm like inspired. I'm like, I want to be able to write like that someday. And
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
that's yeah. Okay. I've asked this question on the podcast before, but I'd love to hear your answer because I have a feeling you're gonna gush, and you don't have to gush too much if it like ruins any future plans for Fix.
No.
But what are some of your personal headcanons for Link and Zelda after Breath of the Wild?
Oh my gosh.
On the
I don't know.
spot.
I really liked the idea that they kind of just settle at Hateno, however the heck you say it. I don't know.
Those.
Just because they've been through so much and now they get that
Mhm.
opportunity to start again. No one really knows who they are. They could just, well, I mean, not everyone knows who they are, and they can kind of just start afresh and just live, have the chance to be peaceful, which of course is not going to happen because Nintendo. But you know, it's nice to dream.
Turn. But yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild 2, when?
Yeah. Yeah, when I typed this question out, I almost put to say, feel free to put on your own clown makeup.
Yeah. Indeed.
Owl, would you like to ask another question?
All right. Are there parallels you discovered in characters or story arcs?
Yes. In Breath of the Wild specifically, I saw a parallel between Rivali and Zelda, not just because they were both mean to Link, but just the struggle with trying to not well, Rivali wanted to be the best, but just the struggle to prove themselves.
Mhm.
Which I relate to, but that's different. That's we're not gonna get into that.
You're enough.
But I saw parallels between. Thank
You're
you.
more than enough.
Thank you. I'll be gay on Maine. But yes, between them, and then I don't know. There's no one else in Breath of the Wild specifically that I see a kind of parallel with. But those two, I see. Oh, my dog is getting closer and louder. Hold on, let me.
To block, to kind of, oh my god, surpass the silence. I think I also see a parallel with like, I mean it's kind of obvious, but with Mipha and Zelda, um, both being princesses and both having fathers and royal obligations for them to live up to. Because at first, like Mipha's father's like, "No, you're not piloting Varuda. Like that's dangerous." And then eventually he lets her do it. And then on the other side of things, like the difference between Mipha's obligations and Zelda's, whereas Mipha's obligations are so much simpler and easier to fulfill. Like there's a physical thing that she just has to learn, but then Zelda has even more weight on her shoulders, and it's a spiritual thing that she can't really study. So I guess there's probably some jealousy there where Zelda's like, if only I had a divine beast, that would be so much simpler. And of course, Mipha's probably later jealous of Zelda because Link's like, hey, Anyway, I went back into the link.
No,
I was
understandable.
like buffering for Pastels to like.
Yeah, no.
Get back.
I'm from the south, so my parents are loud when they talk, and he just kept getting closer
They
and
have
louder, and
southern
I was like,
accents.
please. Yeah, a
Oh
little
my
bit. I hope I don't. I hope mine is not showing.
I blabbered enough. I was waiting for
But
the
no,
unmute button to come back
like,
on.
I agree, and I was like, yeah, I agree with that, and I couldn't say anything because I was muted. But
Okay.
yes, I do agree.
Yeah. I
Oh,
haven't
Mifa.
really thought about parallels too much though, and that's really interesting.
Well, I wish we could have seen more of Zelda and Mifa because I feel like they could have been great friends. And Breath of the Wild was like, nope. The only thing Mifa has going for her is her feelings for Link, and I was
Right.
like, y'all did not have to do her like that.
I'm sure beforehand, like since they're both royals and since they both like probably went to like events and balls, like like just because
Yeah,
you know Mifa is a princess. Like they probably have known each other for a long time.
probably.
From her father visiting the castle. I don't know how that would work because he's a large man, but I bet when
They
Mifa
would
got
no, they
older,
would have
she
to
was
go
like
to
she
they would
was
have
the
to go
ambassador.
to Zora's domain.
Oh yeah, but still, yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm sure
they could have been.
there's a lot more to Mifa's character, and I just like there just wasn't time for there to be any more than
Yeah,
she likes Link.
I keep seeing parallels between Breath of the Wild and Skyward Sword though, which is cool. I need to finish that game, but
You need
it's
to
very
finish, and
cool
then you
to
need to
see it.
read some fics.
Yeah,
I was about to say my own, but I'm like read
self promo.
don't self promo. We're not doing that right now. Okay, but you should. It's a really good game. If anyone else in the audience has not played Skyward Sword, you must. And Breath of the
I
Wild. You
need to
should play
finish
Breath of
it.
the Wild. Yeah,
Yes.
there's some parallels there. I think there that it's mostly like
Places and stuff
cinematic.
that I've seen.
Cinematic play parallels where I don't know, certain positions of the characters and camera and whatnot.
Yes.
I mean, we've got time to use Owl's extra questions because Owl is so much better at this than I am. I might have Owl just take over the
Oh no.
podcast.
BS it.
I don't need to be in charge of this podcast anymore. It's Owl's turn.
Now you're way more social than I am. I just kind of sit here and listen.
Me. That's okay. Just know I'm not going to listen back on this episode because I don't like to hear myself, so I'm not going to be listening back.
What is your favorite part of Link himself?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like he's so complex, even though Nintendo really just Nintendo just says here, but I think he's so much more complex than the game show, and he's really fun to kind of project to characterize in fics and stuff because Nintendo doesn't give you much, so you have a lot of freedom to
As I've heard.
yeah, you have a lot of freedom to kind of make him what you want to make him, trying to kind of turn him into whatever you want to. So you could do a lot of AUs, you could just do a lot of stuff with him. He's very complex, but also very, very malleable, I guess you could say.
Should I throw out another one, or?
I got one on the spot, and then we'll do one more years. So I've actually never. I mean, I've thought about this, but where do you think Link's character could go? As far as arc wise, where do you think it could go in Breath of the Wild 2? Because there's obviously a lot of angst happening, and there's a lot of directions that could go. And I guess what do you think about the directions that could go?
I really want to see some like trauma exploration and something a little more than just he looks at her at the end of the game and that's all you get.
Right.
You know, like I want more than Like, I want to see a relationship develop. I want, even if it's not necessarily romantic, because I know Nintendo's not going to be like, here you go. But I want to see just more to him than, like, the blank slate that they've given him. Because, you know, while it worked in the beginning of the game, I felt like at the end of it, once you have all the memories, once he's done all this stuff, that the blank face doesn't really work for him. I cannot express how much I hated whenever he would come out of a memory and just be like, gasp, and that's it. So I really want to see more trauma exploration. I want to see him have a personality more than anything. That doesn't just come from dialogue options, you know?
Right. I think in general, the way I've been thinking about it, it's like I want him to seem more like a person.
Yes.
Because even not even like Breath of the Wild, like throughout the series, like the blank slate has been done.
Done to death. Pun not intended.
It's been done.
Done to
And
death.
I feel like it's just the perfect setup. Because I've already given him personality. It's just it would be incongruent. I don't know where that word came from. It would now be inconsistent for them not to give him more of an identity, because Breath of the Wild was about him having amnesia and him exploring what he remembered, and his identity is like his new identity versus his old identity. And now that he's gotten the opportunity to step into himself, that's an opportunity for that character to step into themselves. So there's kind of no excuse for the blank slate anymore.
Yeah.
And then with the relationship thing, it's I'm not joking around. It's required of them to establish that relationship, whatever it may be, like in order for them to have a story with those two characters. Like that's just like writing 101. Like what are these characters to each other? So I'm not as much as I want them to make out. I'm not saying that like that it has to be romantic. I'm just saying that we're gonna get an answer. Yeah, we're gonna get an answer.
I would hope so.
Let me hope, but let me hope about the other better answers. But we're going to get an answer.
Yeah, we're going to get an answer. Whether it's the answer we want, that remains to be seen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's interesting. I do want him to see. I do want him to be more just more grounded in human emotions.
Yes.
Because that's how I continuously write him as. Like I'm continuously really making him like he would be. Like, you know, even in the older games, like writing for Twilight Princess Link or Skyward Sword Link, like I'm making him a person that would react to his circumstances, like how he would react to that. And then I think I just in general in doing that, he's aged a year or two, you know, just like a little bit more grown up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe that. Like not even in a sultry way, but just like it's a darker adventure, and
it is
gone through a lot. And I think if he's aged a couple of years, and this is real stuff happening. So I'm excited. Anyway, Owl, you have another question, and then that'll be your last one.
What was your favorite part of it to write?
Oh shoot, let me pull that back up.
You closed the tab?
Well, no, my laptop went off. My writing process is not a process at all. I get like a quote, I get a vision, and I run with it until something happens with it. And I think that's what happened here. I got like a dialogue idea, and I just I went with it. And those are my favorite parts to write, because it's like, oh, this is where the idea originally came from. I don't remember what line it was, though. I think it might have been the, she's the only thing I know, and I don't even know her. That line. But I was like, dang. I was like, dang. I like that part.
Yeah. That was really good. All right, Tumblr question. I have been saving this for this episode.
Oh god.
Are you ready?
No.
So excited. Pastels. I mean, and all of us are going to answer this eventually, but Pastels gets to answer it first. How
Oh god.
do you manage / keep track
Oh
of your
god.
fic ideas?
Oh god. Oh god. Oh
Pastels.
god. Okay.
How do you manage
being-
/ keep track of your fic ideas?
I'm being called out. So, I have a Google account purely for fanfiction, and I throw every idea I have into a document. And later on, I go in and I organize it. I have a couple folders, one-shots, requests, whips. I have all those folders, and everything goes into the whip folder, and then I have a folder inside that folder that says actual current whips, meaning stuff I'm actually currently working on right this second. And I need to move some stuff out of that because I just get hit with inspiration when I get hit, and I suffer, but it's organized chaos, okay? Hear me out. It's organized chaos.
I had no idea it was organized. This is the first time hearing of it.
This is organized chaos, please.
It's very interesting. So, Pastels has a little works in progress, and every time on the Discord she gets a new idea, we're just like, Pastels.
Yeah. It's a
Pastels.
problem. It's a problem. It's a problem. I have so many ideas.
But I mean,
that
again, that's a
working
good
on.
thing, because, like, sometimes I don't have any ideas, and sometimes I have a bunch of ideas. So I think it's better to have a lot of ideas, but at the same time, like, it can get kind of chaotic when you're like,
Oh yeah, it's very much chaotic. But I got a lot of AU ideas out for Wumptober, and then they all came back, so you know. Do with that what you will.
Staring at your list of to-do.
Yes. My list of to-do never shortens. It only gets longer.
Yeah. Al, what about you and your organizing, keeping track of your ideas?
Well, if I manage to remember it for long enough, then it's worth doing. If
There you
not,
go.
oh
Right.
well, throwing that in the trash and it's not going on my to-do list.
Yep.
There you go.
That's how I filter my thoughts.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
I write everything down, and then if I still feel like doing it, then I'll do it.
Well, I want to, but I want to make sure that I don't end up sitting there staring at a bunch and being like, I want to do these all right now.
Hey, look.
Right. Pastels.
Look. Leave me be.
I'm looking.
Stop looking.
Okay. You just said, you told me to look. Okay, I am a mess. Sometimes they're in my notes app. Sometimes they're in Google Docs.
Oh, not the notes app.
Sometimes they're in Scrivener. Sometimes they're in my head. And I'll be like in dance class or something and I can't write it down. Or in the shower. Or trying to go
not
to
the
bed.
shower thoughts. That's where they all come from.
Yep. So, like, they're all over the place. And,
yeah.
Okay. Like, the bigger ones I do have a Scrivener project for, but I've barely started some of those. And then, if I have, like, an event, like, Linktober, or right now it's the December OTP prompts. I just have one big Google Doc that's just like, here they are!
Nothing wrong with that.
Please write them, brain.
That's what I'm doing with my fic, my long fic that I haven't touched in months.
Yeah. And then we're also doing that with ICG. Which brings us to the self-promo portion of the podcast for Pastels.
Oop.
Pastels, what do you have going on?
Shoot.
What are you working on? What do you want to promote?
Oh god, okay.
What
well,
can you talk about?
Yeah, what can I promote? Right now I have been doing requests because I hit 300 followers. I had to close the requests so I could try to keep up with them.
Have you finished all those requests?
No. No.
Because I was worried mine didn't
I
go
know,
through.
no, I got yours. I just had more than I anticipated having, that's for sure.
Because you're a good writer and people like
Slowly getting through them. I had to stop for the sake of gift exchanges, getting those stuff done. But I will be continuing. I will be finishing all of those. I'm determined because I had good ideas and I'm gonna get through all of them. And then I have my long fic, which I might not do so long anymore because I don't know. Just post calamity story that's in the works called Wasteland Baby because Hosier owns my soul. And then I have a sort of AU, I guess, in the works as well for Breath of the Wild. A lot of my AUs come from roleplays that I do with fellow writers. It's really fun to write with other people and not just rely on yourself. So a lot of my ideas come from there. And I think that's all I have right now, other than, ICG, which go read. It's a collab.
We'll be covering it.
Yes.
Not
We will.
Not next time, but
someday. But that's all. That's really all I'm working on. Yeah, that's all I got right now.
Finished. Pastels finally did chapter 40.
Hey, look. You look. To be fair, that caught me in Wumptober, and I was drowning in Wumptober.
Anyway, so I'm gonna put in the description like Pastels AO3. Of course, me and Al's information, but like Pastels AO3 and Tumblr, so you can follow her.
Yes.
She needs more followers. If you're following me, I have too many followers. Please unfollow me and follow Pastels instead.
Well, don't unfollow. You can follow more than one person.
You follow roughly like 1,000, can't you?
I mean, I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not following that many
I'm sure
people.
there's a limit, but I can't remember what it is.
I don't know.
1,000 sounds right. But anyway, so I'll put that information. I'll put the link to Bittersweet, so you can read the rest of that. Please do. Please also read other Pastels. I'm gonna put the links to all the other fics that Pastels mentioned. Like,
there are so many of them. Please do not feel obligated to read them. There are a lot of them.
Obligated to read them all.
No,
They're all good stories.
They're all good. She's an amazing author.
There's so many of them.
She is like top tier writer.
Thank you. I've been writing since I was like 13, doing cringe fandom work. I'm glad it's paid off.
We all started somewhere. I started somewhere around there too. What was I gonna say next? Yeah, all that information will be down there. Yeah. Okay. Who do we have next week? Not next week, but so today is
next time.
Today is the day this is releasing is the 23rd. So Merry Christmas, audience. And if you don't really celebrate
Happy
Christmas,
holidays.
Happy Hanukkah, whatever's going on. And if you don't celebrate any holidays, like, find a way
so
to treat
fair.
yourself. Like, relax and like watch your favorite movie. Like, you deserve it. I may not even know you, but I am talking to you. Yes, you right there. You deserve it. I'm pointing to my ceiling, but
ceiling deserves it.
No, every one of my audience members deserve it. So treat yourself. Be safe out there, though. Be safe out
please.
There. It's a scary world out there, but have fun during your break, and I hope you guys find relaxation and family time, and and friend time. And if you're alone, you're never alone because you're listening to us. So
yeah,
we're here for you. And message me if you're alone. I will be here for you. Okay, so next week we have web comics with no regrets. Then we have Ashley's written words with How to Be a Queen, which is big
excitement.
And then the week after that is in Calamity's Grasp, where it's just gonna be me, Bella, and Pastels. There's no host. It's just us being like chaos. So that one's gonna be fun. Okay, so this is a good solid episode. I hope it was like what you expected. I hope you had fun. I hope like we didn't like miss anything you wanted to talk. Is there anything you wanted to talk
No.
about?
No. Get
Okay.
me out of here.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
please. Okay, please.
She doesn't like it. No. Okay.
No.
So yeah, this has been the Behind the Fig podcast. Thank you for listening. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Have a nice holiday time, and goodbye.